we don't normally book guests at Marlow Bottom Acoustic Club because we don't really have a venue which makes it suitable. But as you'll have seen in my email, I think pretty much everybody's venues are the same these days. We're all playing from our front rooms. Folk clubs don't have floor spots anymore; they have sofa spots. So some of you will know Dave's work from his time as part of his worship in the Pig. Those of us who regulars from Marlow Bottom Acoustic Club will know many of his songs from the singing of John Crosby, who died last year and whom we miss. So I'll pass over to Dave. Thank you very much for agreeing to do this session, Dave. Nice of you to join us.
Thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Thanks for asking. So, are you all staying safe? Are you all locked down? Yeah, us too. Yeah, we're sort of getting excited these days about the strangest things, like going to the chemists and taking the bins out has become a real thing. You know, sort of. We sort of we get dressed now. We get dressed up to take the bins out because it's sort of everything you need to do. So, I'm going to start with a song. It's called "A Little Egg Box," and it's a song. It's a sort of song with a sting in the tail and a warning in the middle. A lot of people I've noticed in our area have been doing gardening and painting and all sorts of things. And the guy in this song decided, having done all that stuff, that he would clear the attic out. Been meaning to do it for years and never got around to it. And I think probably by the end of the song, he wishes he'd just left things well alone for the little egg box. I'll try that again, I think. Well, I've been wed for 20 years, and all the time I've been the kind of chap who'd face life and take troubles on the chin. But recently I've changed me ways, and if you wonder why, sir, I'll tell you my sad story and present this sound advice, sir. Let sleeping dogs lie where they will, leave every stone unturned. Don't open doors for skeletons or tin cans labelled worms. Be like the wise old ostrich, stick your head into the sand, sir. Don't ask awkward questions, 'cause you might not like the answer. Was clearing out the attic, tucked inside a dusty drawer, I found a little wooden box I'd never seen before. A slave to curiosity, 'twas in the box I found, sir, 2 little hen's eggs nestled and about £1,000, sir. I called her wife, I asked her if she'd seen the box before. To my surprise, tears filled her eyes, her face fell to the floor. A half-wit would have known to leave it none the worse nor wiser, but like a fool I stubbornly demanded a reply, sir. She said, you know I promised to be true when first me vows were made, but from the straight and narrow path from time to time I strayed. Though I could not confess me sins, I pledged to make a token and place a hen's egg in the box each time me vows were broken. Well, I said 2 eggs in 20 years, that's no cause for complaint. I was happy to forgive and to forget the incident. And I said in time we'd laugh about the day the box was found, sir. Then like a fool I went and asked about £1,000, sir. She said, you ask about the money, though I begged you to refrain, for you know that dwelling on the past can only bring us pain. If it's the truth that you require, then this is how it goes, sir. Each time I got a dozen eggs, I sold them to the grocer. Let sleeping dogs lie where they will, leave every stone unturned. Don't open doors for skeletons or tin cans labelled worms. Be like the wise old ostrich, stick your head into the sand, sir, and don't ask awkward questions, 'cause you might not like the answers. Little egg box. So, is the sound all right? It's not too loud or discordant? Or I can't know anything about the talent at this stage in the proceedings. I don't know if Alan mentioned, but I'm from originally, the accent is from Stoke-on-Trent. Well, you've got to come from somewhere, haven't you? And so I come from the land of Wedgwood and Dalton and, you know, smoke and bottle ovens. And actually, there was a poll about 2 years ago. There was a poll, and the result that came out was that Stoke-on-Trent is the worst town in England to live. I was shocked. I was. I mean, why they needed a poll, I got no idea. But so this is a song you may not know, but Stoke-on-Trent is a city, and actually there are 6 towns. And I lived in the northernmost town. Tunstall is my hometown, and very old-fashioned town, full of miners' cottages and terraced houses. And it's all recently, over the last sort of 20-30 years, all been urbanly renewed. And the impact of that urban renewal is about this song. It's called Bricks and Mortar. That's not how it goes. And yeah, but that's more like it. Walk around your town and you'll be shocked at what they've done. They've knocked down all the terraces, they put up brand new slums, with wood-look floors, with wood-look doors, with plastic and with steel. It's a pity that the people left to live in them are real. Bricks and mortar, sand and water, concrete, iron and steel. Bricks and mortar, sons and daughters, think and breathe and feel. A town can be constructed, but communities are grown. Takes more than bricks and mortar to make a house a home. Well, they stood now for 100 years in peacetime and in war, with nothing but a lick of paint, they'd last 100 more. With care and ingenuity, they'd still be going strong, when the little concrete boxes they're building now are gone. Bricks and mortar, sand and water, concrete, iron and steel. Bricks and mortar, sons and daughters, think and breathe and feel. A town can be constructed, but communities are grown. Takes more than bricks and mortar to make a house a home. They stood. I saw the red brick terraces, the old front doors and sashes, reduced to heaps of rubble, into piles of smouldering ashes. Through the smoke I saw the old folk watching from the path, while unconcerned the workmen burned the future in the past. Bricks and mortar, sand and water, concrete, iron and steel. Bricks and mortar, sons and daughters, think and breathe and feel. A town can be constructed, but communities are grown. Takes more than bricks and mortar to make a house a home. I wondered if they really wanted patios and ponds. They prefer the terraces, but back where they belong. I wondered if some 9-to-5er lumbered with the task had ever even bothered to get off his arse and ask. Bricks and mortar, sand and water, concrete, iron and steel. Bricks and mortar, sons and daughters, think and breathe and feel. A town can be constructed, but communities are grown. Takes more than bricks and mortar to make a house a home. 'Cause it's the people in the houses, it's the well-to-do and poor, the preacher and the publican, the bloke who lives next door. The mothers and the lovers and the sisters and the wives make a difference in the end between a living and a life. Bricks and mortar, sand and water, concrete, iron and steel. Bricks and mortar, sons and daughters, think and breathe and feel. A town can be constructed, but communities are grown. Takes more than bricks and mortar to make a house a home. It takes more than plans and promises to make a place to live. Takes more than good intentions, if that's all you have to give. You can't build flesh and feeling, nor get blood out of a stone. It takes more than bricks and mortar to make a house a home. Bricks and mortar, sand and water, concrete, iron and steel. Bricks and more to sons and daughters think and breathe and feel. A town can be constructed, but communities are grown. It takes more than bricks and mortar to make a house a home. Bricks and mortar.
I think the planner amongst us appreciated that.
Sorry, Alan, I didn't hear that.
I think the town planner amongst us appreciated that.
Oh, honestly, you know, when you do these sort of songs, you always realise that afterwards you will have put your foot in your mouth from somebody's point of view. So,
I wasn't being sarcastic, by the way.
no, I know, Alan, it's all right. I'm going to try and do 2 newish songs. The lockdown hasn't been kind to new songs, as you might imagine, because you never get a chance to sort of sing them in. This one I'm going to do because it is the 3rd anniversary of Vin Garbutt's passing. And I don't know about you, but it's not just Vin. I don't know if you knew Vin at all. I met him a number of times at festivals, and just lovely, lovely man, and funny. And what I really liked about him was his stage persona was just his like day-to-day persona, just turned up to 10. You know, it was just smashing guy. But it's not just him. Over the last couple of years, we've lost Roy Bailey. And, you know, you'll all tell me somebody else, not just artists, but people from our folk family who, you know, it gets, I don't know about you, but it gets very painful for me to think of some of the people I lost, particularly a guy I knew called Tony Cutler, who used to be around Bromsgrove and was just a lovely guy. And he slipped away about 18 months ago now. And so this is a song for all those people. I'm not really very big on the just let me have a slip of tea. I'm not really very big on the afterlife thing, generally speaking. But I had this idea that when it's all transpired and we've all moved over, we're all going to meet up in this massive session with all the people you've ever known and ever liked and ever wanted to hear again. They're all going to be there. You know, I don't know, people from the Watersons and, you know, people who've moved on who we can't see now, who one of these days we're going to be sitting back with them and hearing it all going on. This is called A Session on the Other Side. And so it's not sung in, and I hope I can get through it. And let's see how it goes. I've been thinking of the friends I've lost, too many and too soon. I've been thinking of the way their songs and laughter lit a room. And it's a comfort to me, though it's here I must abide, to think they're out there singing in a session on the other side. There's a session on the other side. There's a session on the other side. Between the darkness and the dawn, across the great divide, where the singers and the songs we've missed for far too long are singing in that session on the other side. There'll be familiar faces we've not seen for many years. There'll be a few we maybe won't recall, and others near and dear. There'll be time for reacquaintances, time for sweeter sides, turning back the long years and the session on the other side. There's a session on the other side. There's a session on the other side. Between the darkness and the dawn, across the great divide, where the singers of the songs we've missed for far too long are singing in that session on the other side. There's banjos, there's accordions, there's fiddles and guitars, mandolins, melodeons and whistles and barons, and they're just for once to find they're all in tune and time, in perfect pitch and harmony. In the session on the other side, there's a session on the other side, there's a session on the other side, between the darkness and the dawn, across the great divide, where the singers and the songs we've missed for far too long are singing in that session on the other side. They'll sing the shoals of herring, they'll sing 70 and 100 other songs and shanties we all knew back then. And you'll hear the skiffs and trawlers slip out on the morning tide, all hands on deck and singing in the session on the other side. There's a session on the other side, there's a session on the other side, between the darkness and the dawn, across the great divide, where the singers of the songs we've missed for far too long are singing in that session on the other side. Well, there's wine from many a country, boys, there's spirit stout and strong, the beer is always crystal clear like sunshine on your tongue, and the bar is always open and no payment is required. So if you get there first, well, slake your thirst in the session on the other side. There's a session on the other side, there's a session on the other side, between the darkness and the dawn, across the great divide, where the singers of the songs we've missed for far too long are singing in that session on the other side. I've not been good enough for heaven, I've not been bad enough for hell, though I've had a taste of both down here, I'm sure you have yourself. When the time for parting comes, well, I'll be satisfied to think I'm heading over to the session on the other side. There's a session on the other side, there's a session on the other side, between the darkness and the dawn, across the great divide, where the singers and the songs we've missed for far too long are singing in that session on the other side. They're singing in that session on the other side. That was close, wasn't it? All, what did he used to say? All the very best. How am I doing for time, Alan?
You're okay. You're good. You're good for a few more, I think.
Okay. Okay. Right. I was telling Alan earlier about my touching relationship with Bristol, and that when I was living in Stoke-on-Trent, I had to go down to Bracknell quite regularly, and I always got lost on the way back. And I knew when I got properly lost because I'd see the suspension bridge and I'd think, oh yeah, I know where I am now. I can get back to where I need to be to get home at about 10 o'clock. This particular day, this song's called One of Those Days. You'll have had some of these, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
And this song is about one particular morning, February time. I got out of bed about 10 to 5. It was black as a bag and freezing big guns outside. Went for a shower. Gemma, my daughter, had used all the hot water the night before. and it kind of just went down bank from there. The morning did. Everything I touched just went wrong, culminating about 45 minutes later with me standing outside in the frost and ice and snow with the car completely frozen, including the door locks, and I scratched a little port in the ice, and on the passenger's seat I could see the de-icer can. And I thought, they're going to have to manage without me today, and I went back to bed. And this song's called One of Those Days. I can't tell, because you're muted, if you're singing, and I can't tell if you want to sing, but the phrase "it's going to be one of those days" repeats itself all through the song.
We know this one, Dave.
Sorry, say again, please.
We know this one.
Oh, you know this one, okay. I'll try and get it in the right order then. When you find you slept through your alarm clock and you can't find clean knickers or socks, and when number one daughter's used all the hot water and there's no tea bags left in the box, the orange juice carton is empty and the coffee pot's furry and green, the toaster is broken, the bread is all frozen and you struggle to stifle a scream. Well, it's going to be one of those days, going to be one of those days. But don't think these things always happen to you. The creation has cursed everything that you do. For the rich and the famous have their moments too, and it's going to be one of those days. Well, there's icebergs ahead, said the first mate to the skipper who stood on the bridge. But on the Titanic there was no sign of panic. The captain was cool as a fridge. They can't harm us at all, he said smiling. Hold your course, keep a full steam ahead. But soon after noting the carpets were floating, he turned to the first mate and said, it's going to be one of those days, going to be one of those days. Why do these things always happen to me? Just how unlucky can anyone be? This is not going to look too good on me CV, it's going to be one of those days. Dr. Livingstone lived in the jungle with a tribe that thought he was a god. Well, he got 40 wives, gold and silver besides. He was set up for life, lucky sod. Then Stanley strides into the clearing with his pith-hat, machete and shorts. I believe you are one, Dr. D. Livingstone, at which the good doctor retorts. He said, it's going to be one of those days, it's going to be one of those days. Here I live in the life of a toff, now Stanley's caused a complete catastrophe. I wish he'd just take his pith at and pith off. Oh, it's going to be one of those days. Now there's no there's no disputing Rasputin was cute in a mad monkish way. He was giving Katrina, the lovely Tsarina, more than spiritual guidance, they say. So the Tsar, he arranged for his maid, and he hired a hit monk for the job, to stab him and shoot him and electrocute him. No names, no pack drill, 10 bob. He said, it's going to be one of those days, going to be one of those days. If there's trouble about, you can bet that I have it. Is it my fault the Tsarina goes like a rabbit? If this is mad monking, I'm changing me habit. It's going to be one of those days. So if you ever have one of those mornings when nothing you do will go right, and everything that you touch from the time you get up congeals into one great heap of rubbish, well, don't think it's your fault or failure. It's not something you've eaten or said, and all you can do when it happens to you is sing as you go back to bed. Oh, it's going to be one of those days. It's going to be one of those days. It isn't a blessing and it feels like a curse when things keep on turning from bad into worse. You can't even think of a rhyme for this song, little rhyme or scan or any bloody thing. Well, it's going to be one of those days. The reason I put the Titanic verse in there, you might not be aware of this, but Ted Smith, the captain of the Titanic, was from Stoke-on-Trent. Oh. And which is, a sort of an interesting factoid. The more interesting fact is that 2 years before the Titanic, he was the master of another ship called the Britannic. And when they took it out for their maiden voyage, he crashed it into a destroyer. So it leads you to believe that maybe things that were reported weren't exactly the case. I think I'll have a change of instrument. Am I doing, Alan?
Yeah, you got time.
I'm all right.
Maybe three more.
3 more. Thank you very much. Okay. Now, I don't know if you're aware of the illustrious fishing industry that we have had in Stoke-on-Trent over the years. This is a new instrument, actually. I had this for Christmas, which you will know when you see me trying to play it. It's called a cittern. This 5 courses, 10 strings, and the one I played originally, the first, the smaller one. What do I call that, Alan?
That's your babysitter.
Thank you very much. we could be out on the road, me and Alan, like that. It's just like that. The babysitter, that's right. Sorry about that. But actually, this is a song called "Saying Goodbye to the Sea," and I don't know if you've seen that the impending Brexit has kicked off all these fishing wars again. All this stuff that's being talked about and disagreements with the French. This song was written last time it happened, when all the trawlers were being moored for weeks and weeks and weeks, and having to use specific nets, and they were all going out of business. And this particular guy in this song, it was his wife I heard telling the tale, said that in 1 week the bank foreclosed on the boat and on their house. And he was moving up to the West Midlands to work in a printed circuit factory. And I just wondered how, after generations of seafaring, that would go down. And it's called "Saying Goodbye to the Sea." There's a chorus, and it's in C if you want to have a play, if anybody else is playing stuff. I won't be able to hear it, but it doesn't mean you can't have a play if you want to. So let's give it a go anyway. There was never much romance in fishing. That's just trawlermen's talk in the bar. It was mostly low pay. At the end of the day, it was dangerous, dirty and hard. There were times when we made a good living, but we can't make ends meet like we could. And we're up to our necks, so we're clearing the decks. We're getting out while the going is good. And I'm saying goodbye to the seas, lads. I'm saying goodbye to the sea. Goodbye to the fishing, goodbye to the nets. The nearer it comes, lads, the harder it gets when you're sailing or out for the grounds, lads. You'll be sailing or out without me. There's a lump in my throat, 'cause I'm burning me boats, and I'm saying goodbye to the sea. Now I don't mind the backbreak and labour, I don't mind the weeks out from home, and I don't expect catches where you can't close the hatches. I know that the old days are gone, but I'm sick of their scrimping and saving, and the bankers who make your life hell, and the ministry fools with their quotas and rules, with the Frenchies just pleasing themselves. So I'm saying goodbye to the seas, lads. I'm saying goodbye to the sea. Goodbye to the fishing, goodbye to the nets. The nearer it comes, lads, harder it gets when you're sailing or out for the grounds, lads. You'll be sailing or out without me. There's a lump in my throat, 'cause I'm burning me boats. I'm saying goodbye to the sea. So it's 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and it's clock card and cog in the wheel, and it's butties and flask and some trivial task for a spotty lad with a degree. And he'd not last a couple of minutes on a dark rolling deck of a trawler, where computers are kings. He's the man running things, me just a fish out of water. So I'm saying goodbye to the seas, lads. Yes, I'm saying goodbye to the sea. Goodbye to the fishing, goodbye to the nets. The nearer it comes, lads, harder it gets when you're sailing or out for the grounds, lads. You'll be sailing or out without me. There's a lump in my throat, 'cause I'm burning me boats. I'm saying goodbye to the sea. There's a lump in my throat, 'cause I'm burning me boats, and I'm saying goodbye to the sea.
One of our regulars sings that. Is it Steve? Is it Steve who sings that?
It's ever so strange, you know, when you talk to people from a longer distance away who don't see you sing all the time. Suddenly start saying, "Oh yeah, he sings that," and they've sung that. It's such a strange. It's such a strange feeling, because I never think anybody's ever heard these songs, you know. And I'm like, yeah, this will all be brand new to these folks. They're like, yeah, I've seen that before, mate.
You don't get paid when any of us sing it, you know.
Hey, but you know, I wrote a song, a Christmas song, and it got taken up by a company called Green Tracks on an album called Bar Humbug. It was a very anti-Christmas sort of song, and I get royalties.
Hey.
I had £1.35 this last year.
Where are you taking it?
That's why I retired in the end. I thought I don't need to be one. What shall I do? I'll do this brand new song. Shall I give it a go?
Why not?
It's I don't know this song has kind of been eclipsed by the whole COVID thing. Because up till then, everybody was going spare about the climate and climate change and what was going to happen to our beautiful world. And I wrote this song. This song hasn't got a title, so if you've got any ideas, I'd be interested to hear them. Oh, we're funny little creatures, we scamper on the earth, made up of self-importance, convinced of our self-worth. I don't think this is the right key. I think it's okay there at the moment, but I think once you get to the deeper bits, I'm going to be struggling. I'll just try that again. Try that. We're funny little creatures, we scamper on the earth, made up of self-importance, convinced of our self-worth. We really think we're something, smart and smooth and slick, but the evidence is pointing to us being a bit thick. When you can build a peace machine, or one that turns the deserts green, or banish pain and poverty forever. When you've restocked the lakes and seas, fill the forests full of trees, come back then and tell me that we're clever. We really love our Beamers, our Audis and our Mercs, don't seem to give a damn that our obsession costs the earth. There's millions upon millions roaring off to work each day, millions upon millions roaring back the other way. When you can build a peace machine, one that turns the deserts green, banish pain and poverty forever. And when you've restocked the lakes and seas, fill the forests full of trees, come back then and tell me that we're clever. Now I believe our scientists believe they're doing good, they just don't get that 'cause you can don't always mean you should. To me, we're more like children building castles on a beach, where the things you really need are slipping farther from our reach. When you can build a peace machine, or one that turns the deserts green, banish pain and poverty forever. When you've restocked the lakes and seas, fill the forests full of trees, come back then and tell me that we're clever. Oh, we're facile fossil junkies, of that there is no doubt. There's no sign we'll kick the habit till the lights start going out. How it's strange we power our planet on creatures dead for eons, so when we make plastic dinosaurs, we make them out of real ones. When you can seal the peace machine, one that turns the deserts green, banish pain and poverty forever. When you restock the lakes and seas, fill the forests full of trees, come back then and tell me that we're clever. Now it won't be in my time, but I've had my hopes and dreams that those that follow after me will find the ways and means to use the brains they're born with to get us back on track before we hit the tipping point and there's no turning back. When you can build a peace machine, or one that turns the deserts green, banish pain and poverty forever. When you restock the lakes and seas, fill the forests full of trees, come back then and tell me that we're clever. When you can build a peace machine, one that turns the forest green, please don't let it take forever.
Good song.
Gosh, yeah. What shall we call that?
Lament for Gaia.
Say that again, please.
Lament for Gaia.
Oh, for the Gaia.
Oh, tell me that we're clever.
That's a nice idea, that is, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know how common the Gaia idea is, but it's I like it. I like it.
Lament for Gaia.
One more, Alan.
Yeah, we can begin for one more.
Okay. What shall I do? I know. I have a question. Have you started putting things away safe and never seen them again?
Never.
Terrible.
No, never done that.
No. Terrible. Well, that's not what people have told me over the years, I have to say. But I was just thinking today I could do with some examples. And Marina said she'd got this fantastic look, Marina. She does over the side like that. She said, "What about your glasses?" And so I'd lost my glasses. I'd been absolutely Oh, have you ever been talking to somebody on your phone and told them you can't find your phone and you're looking for your phone while you're talking to them? It's here somewhere. I had it earlier on. But this was about my spectacles. And I'd lost my spectacles all day on a Saturday, and about 6 o'clock, Marina says they were in the fridge. I'm like, oh, okay. Do you know, we never did find where I'd put that bacon. The other spectacle I made of myself was about 2 weeks ago. We were watching. I'd been doing stuff on my computer while Marina was watching television, and I put my glasses on, and I said, "What's wrong with that television, Marina?" She's like, "That seems all right to me." I'm like, "It's all distorted and out of focus." She said, "You've got 2 pairs of glasses on." But the best tale I ever heard was somebody at a folk festival somewhere. He came to me and said, we were going to Mallorca in August, and this guy had been stopped getting onto the plane because he had an electric fire under his arm. And apparently the cabin crew said, "Sir, you need to tell us why you're bringing that onto the aircraft today." And apparently he looked very sheepish, and eventually he said, "To be absolutely honest with you, it's the only way I can be sure I've turned it off." So if you find yourself doing this stuff, then this song's for you. It's called Mind Over Matter. And so what else should I say to you? I know what I need to say to you. If you want the words to any of these other songs, you'll find them on my website, david-bolton.co.uk. It's a fantastic website. I had this great guy who I was really struggling with WordPress, and this great guy offered to help me put it right, and he's made a really good job of it. His name's Alan Jackson. I think it might be Alan. It's you, isn't it, Alan? You did it, didn't you?
Might be.
Yeah, I think it was. Thank you very much, mate. It's much appreciated. I'll leave you. Thanks ever so much for staying, because you could have all just got up and gone to the loo. I could have been looking at empty chairs, couldn't I? So thanks very much, and thanks for offering to let me have a little sing at you. And take care of yourself. Stay safe, and I'll stay for the end of the evening anyway. It's called Mind Over Matter. I was going to Majorca with me messy son and daughter for a week of sea and sand and Spanish pop. And we'd just got to the airport when a relatively rare thought just popped into me head and made me stop. I said, "I wish we'd bought the telly." They said, "Dad, you're being silly." I said, "I'm not, I've left the tickets on the top." Oh, me belly's gone to pot, me eyes are on the blink, me hair came off in handfuls and it vanished down the sink. Me hearing and me sense of smell have given up the ghost. Of all the things I've lost, I think I miss me mind the most. I really think I miss me mind the most. Well, I can't put names to places, and I can't remember faces that I must have seen 100 times or more. I get mixed up with the children's names called Vicky, Jem and Davy Jane. I don't think they even notice anymore. I tell a joke and one will say, "You told us that one yesterday," and the others say, "Yeah, and the day before." Oh, me belly's gone to pot, me eyes are on the blink, me hair came off in handfuls and it vanished down the sink. Me hearing and me sense of smell have given up the ghost. Of all the things I've lost, I think I miss me mind the most. I really think I miss me mind the most. I still give the girls the eye, although I can't remember why, and I'm worried that I might have lost the knack. Though I've checked the tackle's working fine with frequent furtive tests offline, so all I need to get me back on track is just champagne and a jacuzzi and a sympathetic floozy. Just hope to God it all comes flooding back. Oh, me belly's gone to pot, me eyes are on the blink, me hair came off in handfuls and it vanished down the sink. Me hearing and me sense of smell have given up the ghost. Of all the things I've lost, I think I miss me mind the most. I really think I miss me mind the most. Well, I don't know who to blame for addling me brain. I don't know if it's the hand of God or man, 'cause it could be cosmic rays you see, or mobile phones, or beef or cheese, or petrol fumes, or aluminium pans. Although I think that Jameson and Haig and Marston's, Ruddles and Lafrague should be prepared to carry half the can. Ah, me belly's gone to pot, me eyes are on the blink, me hair came off in handfuls and it vanished down the sink. Me hearing and me sense of smell have given up the ghost. Of all the things I've lost, I think I miss me mind the most. I really think I miss me mind. I really think I miss me mind. I really think I miss me mind the most. Thank you very much. Take care. That was lovely. Thanks very much.
Thank
Thank you very much, Dave, for doing this. Was an experiment on both sides, I think, and I think it worked very well. So thanks very much again.
Can't tell. Thank you very much. I can't tell what the sound was like, but it's
It's good. It's good.
yeah. Thank you very much.
Another round of applause for David, please.
Thank you very much. The best. Thank you.